Oh, ho, 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 ho. Ooh. Listen, I've lost the battle. Look, it's my sleep schedule, okay? I'm sorry. I failed you all.
Excellent.
Shut up. Nice. Streamable. Whoever made this. I really like that the volume is non-existent. Good job.
I'm here in New York City, the concrete jungle, home of literary lions, Wall Street bears, and reptilian
4-year-old video on Taylor Lorenz. Why would you link this? Destiny, what do I do? My corporate job is changing. Now my managers are putting more and more on my plate. Things that should be on a manager's plate is now on mine. Listen, the golden rule of employment is don't ever accept more responsibility without more pay. And when they try to give you more responsibility, drink yourself into an early grave. And then have your family sue them. Good luck.
Because they have to have that dark humor because that they see is awful.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't be able to survive without gallows humor.
You have to have it.
You have to have it.
It'd be weird not.
Wait, is that the cock operator guy?
It's fucking
Okay.
mind-blowing when people get offended by dark humor. Thankfully.
You can't joke about that. It's like, well, that's what
Have
the
you
people
experienced
who've
it?
seen it joke about.
Exactly.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just going to head off, dude.
Yeah.
It's going to get to you, and you're going to be upset, and you're going to do the sewer slides.
But legitimately, that's how you identify somebody who's never experienced jack fucking shit in their life, is if they get offended over shit like that. Because they're getting offended for people who would think it's hilarious.
Yeah. They have to have that dark humor.
At 4850 on YouTube, of Tectone's recent live stream, he spent about 5 minutes commenting on your recent Twitter posts. Actually, I don't care. Tectone's fucking retarded. Why would I even care? There's far more important stuff. Like, do I?
Man, let's just let people help people. I mean, to
Who's stopping anybody from helping anybody? I'm sorry. Are my jokes? Fuck. Hold on. I woke up so late today, so I'm grumpy as fuck already. Okay.
make a quote retweet on this post about this is what you're quote retweeting. Ransom supplies out to Kerr County with Brandon and met up with West Verdell. This is right around the corner from
Like, why is it so funny when it's involving any group of people that aren't you? Like, I wish these people would extend for like 2 seconds. Like, it's unreal to me that they'll look at like, oh, look at these people getting deported. Oh, look at these people dying for wildfires. Oh, look at it. And then when it's their people, they're like, whoa, bro, those are children. Those are children, bro. Are you in Texas, bro? These are Texan children. These are Texan children. Like, if that's going to be your approach to things, then fine. But in that case, how can you not see how fucking insane you look not to extend that to any other group of people besides whatever you personally care about? Like, it's so unbelievably fucking short-sighted.
Camp missing where 20 to 25 little girls went missing. Miles and miles of cars, trees, homes piled on top of one another. First responder told us a huge holiday.
Also, no offense, as a kid haver myself, fuck kids, all right? Listen, kids dying is tragic, sure, but it's not magically infinitely more tragic than like 20 or 30-year-olds dying. The fuck? What? Yeah, children dying is sad, okay? Some children are assholes, all right? They are. It's not like every single child is like this innocent beacon of pure bullshit, okay? Some kids are dicks. They grow up to be dicks. They don't just become them, okay? They were made that way at a very early stage in life. This idea that you're supposed to magically care more because of some fucking age, fuck you. This is fucking retarded. It's so stupid.
Weekend where hundreds of out-of-towners staying on the riverbank, which means they really can't give a solid count how many people are actually missing. This community is going to need support in the following days. Keep an eye out on how to help. We'll try to figure out more tomorrow. Heading back in a couple hours. I don't know what inspired you to schizo out on this guy, but it's really not that big of a deal.
True, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a joke. So you look at it, and if you don't think it's funny, then move the fuck on. It's so simple. It's so easy. It's so easy to just not obsess over things that you think aren't funny. Then just move the fuck on. That's it. Easy.
Come on, man. It's just come on. This is an exhausting, non-necessary streamer drama, and it just feels tiresome.
It feels tiresome? You're so tired. How isn't Tectone supposed to be like a super edgy dude? It's just so tiresome when it's applied to you. Like, you understand that you sound like every single soy fuck, like non-binary LGBT person. Like, why do people have to make homophobic jokes all day? And why do people have to joke about blah, blah, blah? And you're like, dude, it's just a joke. Get over it. Dude, why do you care so much? But now when it's about kids that aren't even... You're not even related to these people. What? Like, I don't understand. What were they? Future potential victims for your dad? Or like, what do you? I don't understand what the what is the connection here? They are so personally fucking offended. Like, what the fuck? It's so stupid. Holy shit! Grow the fuck up, or maintain a consistent position and don't make those jokes ever. Just say we don't do edgy humor here, guys. Not we do edgy humor for every single fucking group of people except for the ones that I personally get upset about. Like, Christ, you guys will fucking talk about God's judgment and everything, and these motherfuckers were killed at like a fucking Christian camp in Texas, all right? Listen, if God was going to command any kind of natural disaster to happen, it seems like it would be right here, all right? Jesus.
It really does. It's just tiresome. Like, let's all do some collective growing up.
Oh my God, from this guy? From this guy? Really? Yeah, this is the... Okay, you know what? I respect it. I respect it. Because it sounds like Tectone, okay, is turning over a new leaf. And no more edgy humor, no more...
Let's do some collective growing up.
No more racist, homophobic, whatever, xenophobic, no more. He's gonna...
And rather than just say, yeah, but dude, isn't this widowy hypocritical? Guys, isn't this guy widowy being a hypocrite right now? Like, guys, hello? Are we all seeing this? Are we all seeing that this guy might be a little bit of a hypocrite right now? Like, guys, we might need to call the police on this guy. What are we doing? Genuinely, NordVPN even replied. What's this? NordVPN. Hello, everyone. This tweet falsely.
These fucking retards. What intern woke up to my tweet and they're like, oh, fuck.
Suggest a sponsorship with us. No such relationship exists. We are reviewing this misuse of our trademark. I heard God killed those kids because they were using NordVPN, promo code of Destiny, to get around the Texas porn ban.
That was a good ass tweet. To be fair, that was a pretty good tweet. I think it was.
Jesus. It's like...
Did you edit it? No, they either soft blocked me or they untagged themselves.
The reason why I might not seem like my normal self, the reason why I might not seem like, oh, why isn't he going harder on this person?
Oh.
Because I genuinely feel if you are this fucked up to say this shit, it's just a waste of time.
Like, do you understand? You're like radiating estrogen and soy right now, right? You are every single person that you've criticized for being too soft and too weak to be on the internet and too much of a cupcake and a snowflake and a little baby that can't handle... I'm sorry, where was it? Hold on. What did we just watch 2 seconds ago?
They have to have that dark humor because that they see is awful.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't be able to survive without gallows humor.
You have to have it.
You have to have it.
It'd be weird not. It's fucking mind blowing when people get offended by dark humor. Thankfully
you can't joke about that. It's like, well, that's what the people who've seen it joke about.
Exactly.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just gonna head off, dude.
Yeah.
It's gonna get to you, and you're gonna be upset, and you're gonna do the sewer slides.
But legitimately, that's how you identify somebody who's never experienced jack fucking shit in their life, is if they get offended over shit like that. Because they're getting offended for people who would think it's hilarious.
Yeah. They have to have that dark humor.
It's just a waste of time, guys. Nothing's gonna change. Destiny is far too smart to... I mean, Destiny is far too smart, far too good of a debater to be held accountable for the shitty-ass jokes he tells.
That doesn't seem to make sense, but...
And I just don't feel like bothering with it. I could sit here and I could bring up this, I could bring up that.
It's also funny because, like, I think he probably doesn't give a fuck about these kids, but because of, like, the whatever new fucking loser, fat fuck, redneck, white trash, red group, friend group that he's fallen into, he has to virtue signal about how much he cares. What did he tweet out yesterday? That he was going to grab some fucking episodes of Sesame Street and go and try to find kids or whatever? Didn't he tweet out that he was going to go out? Like, give me a break. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, it's such a virtue signal. I guess everybody just does this, huh? This is all the...
What's the point? There's no point. And yeah, saying jokes equals unhinged. Got it. You almost made me mad. You almost pissed me off. You did. You almost got me, man. Good one. But yeah, it's just a little bit exhausting how people say, you know what? I really need some content right now. Why don't I just talk about dead children? Why don't we all doing some growing up? Shit-ass joke Destiny, gay as fuck. Shit-ass joke NMP, gay as fuck. I'm even going to give NMP the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give NMP the benefit of the doubt. I think NMP is fucked up mentally right now. I don't think he's okay. I think he's genuinely fucked up. And I think he told that joke because he jokes about everything. Horrible fucking joke. I don't think he did it maliciously. I don't think. I could be wrong. Right? I could totally be wrong. But yeah, genuinely, I don't know, man. I think NMP is he's in his gut of fucking crash out arc right now. Yeah. That's just me. This whole thing is exhausting. Nobody's going to be happy with any way this can be addressed. But
like, there's nothing to address. If there's a joke you don't like on the internet, turn off the computer, dude. Push the X button in the top right of your browser. You can even block me. No one is forcing you to see this. You're not being waterboarded in a room, being forced to stare at jokes that you don't like about me or from me.
My thing is, this is coming from the guy who plays anime gacha games. Can we all just grow up a little bit? And let's not go after the only people who are actually doing the most help in this space. And
No! That's the problem, you stupid motherfucker! Unless I missed a fucking new class that just dropped, and you've got real-life priests and paladins that can bring people back from the dead, this motherfucker is not really helping that much. The kids are dead. They're never coming back. They're gone, okay? They're little baby lungs filled with water, and they're fucking dead. The problem with looking at this stuff, like, I'm gonna go out with thoughts and prayers and maybe a couple days of fucking service, is that you have to solve these problems ahead of time. You have to prepare for shit. You can't sit here and constantly destroy, like, every single part of any part of our system that functions, and then when some motherfuckers die, be like, oh, it's okay, I'm gonna go out and fucking do something and fix it. Fuck you! Kill you in a video game. Or don't video game. Like, it's so stupid. If you actually give a fuck about the issues, then you should do something about the issues. Not go out afterwards and meaninglessly fucking volunteer because he's not saving any fucking lives and he's not bringing anybody back from the fucking dead. It's too late at this point. Jesus.
let's all just shut the fuck up a little bit. That's pretty much it. How about we just shut the fuck up a little bit? Yeah. It's embarrassing. It is. It's embarrassing. And the only reason why I'm even remotely talking about this is
because I have friends that are on this side of the political aisle, and I have to show my loyalty and to signal how much I belong to this social group. The same thing that I used to shit on other people for doing all the time, but I have to do this now because I have to let them know that we all are of the same, social group and everything, and I don't want them to think that I'm not standing by.
For all the drama frogs who want to farm this, who want me to crash out on Destiny, who want me to crash out on NMP, can you guys just donate on Venmo instead to the people who fucking need help right now? This is probably one of the most depressing situations I've ever been in, and it makes me hate this space a little bit more than I already fucking do. So if you can, just scan this Venmo code and donate some money.
Holy shit, I just had a fucking brain blast. I get it now. Hold on. I just had an understanding. When you say things like maybe tax credits for everybody isn't the best thing. Maybe we should actually, fully fund our federal programs. You'll always get some 85 IQ person whose uncle's dick was so far down their throat for 10 minutes when they were growing up that they have permanent mental dysfunction now. You always get somebody like this, like Tectone, will come into the comments and they'll be like, if you think that taxes should be higher, well then why don't you just pay more taxes then, right? And then the obvious response is, well, if there's a 1,000-pound rock and I want all of us to go and move it, and you say, well, why don't I go move it? I can't move it on my own. I can't even make it budge on my own. Me paying taxes on my own is not going to fucking do anything. The point is for everybody to pay them, to fund your programs, to do what you need them to do. But I think they think that is the right thing, right? Is there anything that we could do to alleviate disaster-related stuff in the United States? No, but after one happens, you sure can go drive your F-150 down to the site and work hard on your own to help people. I think they actually think that just pay more tax on your own is a good idea. Maybe they actually think that. Are you saying that as if this could have been circumvented? This is the first time I've heard about this flood stuff. There's 2 or 3 big things going on. One, regardless of whether or not, and I've feel like it is to be determined, or I don't know, we can never know the answer, regardless of whether it was directly at fault or not. The fact that these guys are literally have cut 10% of the staff from the National Weather Service and are constantly fighting to defund these things, and then a natural disaster happens and it's like, oh shit, like could anything have been done to, give us more forward? I don't know. We'll never know the answer to that. Now you have some knuckle draggers who are like, well, they were staffed appropriately at the time, but the forecasting and the staffers and everybody that are in charge of doing these long-term things, who knows how much that was impacted. But you're literally affecting the exact same fucking service, right? You're literally affecting the exact same fucking service. It would be like going outside, like when you say things like, well, do we know if that's what affected it this time? That's the equivalent of a bunch of police officers going outside with bulletproof vests, and then you find out, okay, well, fuck, we're gonna have to go ahead and cut all of their vests in half. We're gonna remove the back sides of all the vests because we don't have money, we don't have the funding to cover every single officer wearing a full vest. And then they go out and they get shot to death, and you're like, well, hold on, check the bodies. Like, oh, well, they got shot in the back anyway, or they got shot in the front anyway, and it went through. So it doesn't matter this time, or it's not important this time. And it's like, well, they're still getting shot at and you need the bulletproof vests. Like, that's what you're paying the money for, right? We fund things like the National Weather Service. We fund things like our emergency service. The second thing is look at like FEMA and how much politicization goes on with the FEMA funds, where when there's a natural disaster, Democrat president just makes funds available. That's what they do. Biden did it without question for, I don't remember which fucking hurricane it was, but whatever one tore up through here and South and North Carolina and up through and Georgia, right, and Florida. Biden did it without question. When there's a natural disaster and Trump has to deal with things, it's time for the FEMA debates. Well, do you deserve FEMA money? Did you shut off the water? Did you turn on the water? Did you blah blah blah? Like, no. Conservatives play games with emergency funds, with funding these government entities, everything. Like, no, fuck it. If people start to die, that's fine and that's based and that's awesome. And you should just celebrate that and just be happy for that and just accept the trade-off. There's going to be some 12-year-old kids will die, but at the very least, I got to save $5,000 on my fucking taxes or whatever, however much money you're saving because you're getting to cut all these horrible, terrible communist programs. Accept the trade-off. Just say that it's based. Much the same way, by the way, that we say that it's based when we get to go out and shoot our guns, which I love very much. And every now and then you might have 20, 30 kids blown away at some fucking school. But our test scores suck anyway, so is it really that big of a loss? Just celebrate it. Say it's based. That's your trade-off, and accept it. But don't sit here and virtue signal and hand wring when you're not going to make a single fucking change. Nothing is worse to me. And everybody knows this intuitively. The worst people in your lives are the ones that message you, bro. And it's like, what's up? Bro. And it's like, what's going on, dude? And it's like, Caroline. And it's like, oh, you're about to complain about the same bitch that you've been crying about for literally 2 fucking years. Like, I'm good, chief. Actually, you know what? I made a ChatGPT script and you can just go back and forth because it's the same fucking complaints every fucking time. I don't know why you still talk to this girl. Or for a girl or a guy, I don't know why you still talking to this guy. What the fuck is wrong with you? The same complaints every single time. If you're not going to make any behavior change, you're not going to do anything different, then fuck off. Who cares? Same thing on the, and then like the climate change not being real either. Where are all of these heightened weather events coming from? But I don't even care about that. The thing that just annoys me is the selective fucking care. That's all I care about. Yeah, somebody linked this. This is what being obsessed with politics does to you. 11,000 likes. Oh, it's so fucking horrible. Meanwhile, LA wildfires. I've been told the image is AI, but the t-shirt is real. Oh, base. January 9th. Was that the same day or did they start on the 7th? Big. So epic. Fucking epic, dude. Oh my God. So epic. So epic. Crisis King is so is Donald Trump. True. Bop, bop. The 9mm SMG guy? Yeah, that guy's got a ton of tweets, but I haven't even... It's just like so much.
People don't give that much of a fuck. And that's why a lot of people don't give that much of a fuck. And that's why I think the internet is so fucking gay for trying to bait Donut into drama off of nothing. It was embarrassing, and I'll be real. Okay, yes, did Donut call?
I agree with you in principle about selective outrage. It seems like an extension of people's tendency to care more about their in-group than others. Do you think humans can outgrow that? I don't know, but if they're not going to, then I'm not going to. And I'm just going to sit here and laugh. So fuck them.
NMP gay?
It's called reciprocity, baby.
Yes. Are we going to act like everybody in OTK don't be saying that shit regardless off stream? But my God.
To hit the right checkboxes, then why would he do that? Where did Trump and Greg Abbott, that is the governor of Texas, where did they mess up? Where did they fail to make a response? They're doing everything they can to respond. They were overstaffed. If anything, they had extra staff. All the warnings were sent out on time, as I showed.
All right, link it. Where's the Iranian donation fund? I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I need these Israelis to get the fuck out of my media space. Get them out of here, okay? Get them the fuck out of here.
You in the beginning, what are you talking about? You seem like you had so much more to say about the California wildfires while blaming Gavin Newsom and DEI. Yes, because they literally contributed to this problem. They literally contributed to this issue. Yes, blaming DEI is, yes, they're hiring firefighters based on them being gay, lesbian, transsexual Latinos over anyone else because they would prefer to get people to hit the right checkboxes than actually.
Are there all these people applying for firefighter positions in California? Like, sorry, we're maxed out on firefighters right now. we hit our quota.
Get people that are capable. Okay, they replaced capable people with tokenized people. That is literally what they did. So it is absolutely something that you could blame them for. All right, to be clear, that's first. Second of all, they didn't have working fire hydrants. They literally derouted the water. They routed the.
Oh, and he believes all of the Trump dick suck stuff. To be fair, you have to. If you're an Israeli, it's like. They don't always, I don't know why, if it's the fucking height of the fucking cameras or whatever, but you always see videos and pictures of Israelis who are at the fucking Wailing Wall or whatever outside the mosque bullshit. And every time they're there, they'll show you the first part where they lean their head against it and then they fucking weep for Jerusalem or some fucking rape reason or whatever. Afterwards, they get down on their knees and they actually have real life replica Trump cocks that like span the entire fucking wall. And as soon as you've done your bar mitzvah or bar mitzvah, every single time you go to that wall, you have to get on your knees and then fucking slurp and fillet as much as you can.
The water away from California to protect the smelt fish, a species of fish that they tried to save. So they routed water away from California, so they did not have water to deal with the wildfires. They didn't have working fire hydrants in California. They had more genders than fire hydrants. Now, this is obviously retarded. This is like obviously retarded. I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't know how you could possibly.
I love how he goes from hand-wringing over my shit to consuming fucking conservative slop fucking rumors, actual misinformation, conspiratorial bullshit. I love it. It's all good. That's fine. That's good. I like it.
Compare these two. Would be really pathetic if you were just weaponizing drowned dead children for social media likes. He spent all day, every day for the last 3 days looking for bodies and volunteering. And you're called.
And he didn't even find any? Sounds like a waste of money to me, dog. Maybe he should have just stayed home to stream. He could have donated the money to people who actually know what the fuck they're doing.
Like him weaponizing drowned dead children for.
What's he doing? Walking around with a fucking 50 caliber, shooting the soil to see what explodes? Like, what the fuck? I didn't know this guy was a fucking emergency services expert body finder. Apparently he needs to go back to school for it.
What you are doing right now. You are weaponizing dead children for social media likes. It is unreal. So, and then he shows a tweet from Donut Operator.
I think I pretty much said the exact thing. I'm pretty sure we already covered this. It's nice having Nux having the additional context there for a pre-existing issue that, to be honest, I wasn't aware of. Yeah.
Mike Sacco is not Israeli? He absolutely is. I don't know why you would not say that, but wow, John, thanks for the $20.
Yeah, the two situations are not comparable in any way, shape, or form.
They're never comparable, ever. They're never, ever comparable. They're never comparable. They never are, because it's always okay to make fun of liberals and the left dying, but it's never okay to make fun of anything that has to do with conservatives, conservatives.
And you can do that, but it's in bad faith. Yeah, I think it's very, very, very embarrassing. Right? Yeah, I feel like if you're going after Donut, you're just being...
Isn't he married with an Israeli family? I don't know. I met him at dinner with him in Israel. I assumed he lived there. Does he not? Maybe he's just a Jew that lives in Israel and he doesn't have citizenship?
Parted for fun. And that's pretty much just it. right?
I'm pretty sure if you're a Jew and you like fall asleep in Israel for more than 1 week, they sneak into your room and they swap out your passport for an Israeli one. So
It's just exhausting, guys. It's exhausting. Seeing the chaos and the brigading in my own chat, guys. What do you want me to do? Like, I'm sorry that your streamer's a piece of shit. I don't really know what you want me to do about it. But like, let's not get to the point where we're willing to lie to make a streamer look good or not.
what?
Not crazy, right? It's really that easy. Yeah. Anyways, I don't really feel like talking about this anymore because it's just kind of really embarrassing.
I don't feel like talking about this anymore after I've milked her for 30 minutes of content. Oh, yeah, Daddy, milk me.
And it really does feel like a, guys, did you know that killing people is bad? Guys, did you know that giving alcohol to an alcoholic is bad? Guys, did you know that giving drugs to children is bad? Like, I don't know why I'm having to be live and telling people common sense.
He's such a bitch.
I appreciate you nuts. Thanks for the video. Thanks for the extra context. We love you to do.
Somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person
Oh my
more
God.
ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
We're defending this?
You want to see,
There ain't no way she said.
you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place.
Nobody gives a fuck if the firefighter coming to save their life is black, trans, gay, queer, two-soul, Mexican, Latino, white, German, a Nazi. They don't care if they're racist. They don't care if they're transphobic. They don't even care if they're a fucking murderer. You know what they care about? Not fucking dying. So let's hire people based off of who's the best for the job rather than, well, guys, we hired 3 trans people today, so look at how progressive we look.
Like, I think people think this actually happens. The hiring person is like, oh, like, do we have enough trans people today on the truck? I think he thinks this is legitimately how the process goes.
Let them both use Hallie now.
It's guys, these children are literally missing and dead. Why does this chick sound like she's got DMs on Nick? And that it's, this reads to me like this is a direct shot at Nick. Am I crazy? Am I the only person reading this? There's Tectone, possible spot. I just don't get it, bro. I full banned. Why did Aiden Ross get banned? All right, so he got banned in 2021 for a homophobic slur used by a guest on his stream. Though the ban was lifted after he argued he didn't say it and wasn't present. He was later banned indefinitely for hateful slurs and symbols, but was later returned. His most severe ban and his 8th came in February for hateful content after displaying unmoderated kick chat on stream.
I really want to read this. Doesn't the lady in the video say she's a commander? She doesn't go into fire, she coordinates, no? Oh, no. Akiva Nugent in YouTube chat. Sorry, you probably just don't have much experience with firefighting. So the way that the firefighting stuff typically works is usually what'll happen is you call 911 and then you tell people how many adult men are in the house. And then what happens is they'll send out as many firefighters as they need to carry adult men out of the houses. That's exclusively in the purview of being a firefighter. It's the only thing that they do. When firefighters show up, generally they show up, they'll put on their weightlifting belts, and then they just run into homes, they pick up men, and then they carry them out. And from top to bottom, every single firefighter job, that's literally the only thing that all of them do all the time, constantly. We have floods all the time in small town politics. I also want to point out that a man named John Corden is referenced by Rob Kelly in connection with ARPA funds. The only lawyer named John Cornyn I've been able to identify in the state of Texas is the current senior U.S. Senator. That does sound like could be a commonish name. I don't remember that last name. Additionally, just last year, on July 25th, 2024, Rob Kelly requested that Governor Abbott declare a state of emergency for Kerr County due to severe storms and flooding. July 25th, 2024. Dear Governor Abbott, Kerr County Texas is facing significant threats to life, health, and property due to severe storms and flooding. The impact of this threat has damaged local roads and sewer systems, as well as flooded several homes, schools, and structures. I've determined this incident is of such severity and magnitude that an effective response is beyond the capability. This was last year. Okay. At a digital context town, Wimberley flood in 2015 killed several people. Wimberley is approximately 80 miles east of Kerrville. Commissioner Baldwin. What is this? Why would I link this? Do I care about this? You know, we had a baby flood a couple weeks ago, a month or so ago, whatever it was, and I keep hearing these reports of the old system, and I know we're not going to deal with that though. Expect that to be gone. Where the Jones called the Smiths, and the Smiths called Camp Rio Vista. Blah 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 blah. In 2016, Kerr County contracted for an engineering study on their current warning system and were told it was antiquated and inadequate. We had our steering committee meeting. We invited also TXDOT, Texas, and the Department of Transportation, maybe? Or both, do you? I don't know. The cost of that whole thing is going to be like $976,000. That's a lot of money, all of it. And the reason we're here today moving so quickly is that there is a FEMA grant that's available to us as long as we apply by January the 20th, which is when Obama goes out of office. Laughter. Well, the reason I mention that is because he authorized this particular thing, and it's a coincidence. Going on the record with that, it's a coincidence. And so there has to be a presidential declaration of a disaster to be able to have these kinds of funds available. So it goes away, just so happens to be when he leaves office. So we've talked about, one of the things we said, sirens, and we said we don't want sirens. Too many people said they did not want sirens when they had these gatherings. Code Red, and I don't know if Dub wants to chime in on this, but Code Red is the same. That's going to get information to a lot of people, not to everybody. Okay, one of the things they will do is identify a point of contact in all the camps. We won't communicate with everybody in the camp, and we just have a point of contact at the camp so they can disseminate to people within. The only thing I have to remind people, unfortunately... Wait, so did they build these sirens or not? After failing to secure a grant that continued to come down the road, 2020 rolls around and they have over $5 million in ARPA funds in their bank and wind up with a grant total of over $10 million. 10, 25, 21. Well, I think that's good. I just think, I'd like to get an idea of what the sheriff's radar systems are going to cost. I mean, I just don't want to go out and get public input on something and then us just not be able to follow up because we have a priority that's different. We have additional information. Well, but let me just explain. What all of these, our intention to do is initiate the education system. We need to get the court educated. We need to get the public educated. Everyone knows that we have over $5 million sitting in our bank account. The federal government sent us for these ARPA funds, and they're not really grants, they're funds. And as the judge said, there's a huge category. There's a bunch of things that you can spend the money or secure the money to spend. And when we use the term grant is not really what that is. It's just funding that's been made available through the American Rescue Plan Act. It doesn't require a match. It doesn't require, that kind of structure, but it does have strings attached. It's not free money. And that's my concern, Judge. My concern is, from my understanding, I won't say LCRA because I know what their number is. The number from the Sheriff's Department, the number from Internal Communications, we're already over $5 million, so I don't want to go out to the public requesting. We have no money to do it. Well, at least we make the determination. That's why I think we need to discuss. We need to get those numbers. I mean, my opinion is law enforcement, Internal Communications at number 1 and 2. Okay, so they talk about all this. What is this? And they still don't update their flood warning system. The people also didn't want to spend any of the ARPA money because it was tied to the Biden administration. Even the judge suggests just holding on to the money so that it can't be sent to states that don't share their same values. And now we have tens of people who've died. Wait, what? 11/08/21. Resident, are you accountable to anyone for how you spend it, or is it kind of a reward and shows your support for this particular program? It's not free money. Being present as we talk. How do we know this? Immediately, unless you want it on the COVID lies and vaccination pressure, you have to send it back. Those are heavy strings, and those are strings the deep state harangue and vilified. Harangue? How do you say this? Hold on. Harangue, sorry. The deep state harangue and vilified President Trump for calling COVID for what it was and then suggest responses that were non-draconian. And then when Biden took office, the leftist government took its gloves off. It has lied and lied more about this COVID, about COVID. The temptation is great. You're accountable. And we would like to know where your allegiance is. President 2, and I'm here to ask this court today to send this money back to the Biden administration, which I consider to be the most criminal, treasonous, communist government ever to hold the White House. And Kerr County should not be accepting anything from these people. They're currently facilitating an invasion of our border, and we're going to support these people. So that's what I have to say. Thank you. Resident, I happen to know that there's no such thing as free money. It's never government funded. It's taxpayer funded. So they're taking our money and they're putting strings attached to it, and then they're giving it back to us, and they're going to get their foot in the door in this county. We don't want their money. I feel like the people have spoken, and I stand with the people. Thank you for your time. Commissioner Bellew, we have the money in the bank, $5.1 million that was sent to Kerr County. Judge Kelly, we didn't ask for it. They sent it. Commissioner Bellew, they sent it. Miss Duell, exactly. Commissioner Bellew? I don't know how to pronounce this fucking name. Money's in the bank right now. It hasn't been spent. In the event that you don't spend it, you send it back. That's part of the Treasury's rules on it. If you do spend it, whatever percentage, there would be no expense to the taxpayers in Kerr County. It would all come out of that account no matter what you do with it. Judge Kelly. And Grant Works has been very helpful in getting us focused on what colors between the lines and what doesn't. As of last Thursday, when I got a call from Bonnie White telling me about this, the problem that y'all were going to present at the meeting, I went and got on the telephone to their senior vice president from Grant Works, and there are discussions that they want to have with us, and so we want to sit down and listen to them, and we want you to hear them too, because you're the public. As far as where that money sits for the next year or two, my old law partner, John Cornyn, tells me that if we send it back, it's going to New Jersey, or it's going to New York, or it's going to, or California, or California. And so I don't know if I'd rather be the custodian of the money until we decide what we have to do with it, rather than give it back to the government to spend it on values that we in Kerr County don't agree with. So, and any spending of it would have to be done in Commissioners Court so you'd be able to see it. Wait, what? Is this real life? They eventually signed a $7.5 million contract with Motorola in 2022 for a county emergency communications system. The system would provide 95% radio coverage to firefighters, EMS, and law enforcement. But hey, at least the USGR has had developing a flood warning system on their strategic plan doc since 2022, which they kept rolling to the next plan year. Holy fuck, this is long. They deserve it. I don't give a fuck. Like I said, I think this is fine. I think that, like, take the money back or don't send it to people like this, and then let the waters of God, figure shit out. It wasn't this the whole story of the Old Testament. This is unhinged. It's not free money. Being present as we talk. How do we know this? This is just an ordinary citizen, by the way. Unless you want it on the COVID lies and vaccination pressure, you have to send it back. Those are heavy strings, and those are strings. The deep state harangued and vilified President Trump for calling COVID for what it was, and then suggest responses that were non-draconian. And then when Biden took office, the leftist government took its gloves off. It has lied and lied more about this COVID, about COVID. Why would we trust a vaccine from a government who secretly funded the very resource that developed this lethal virus? Several hundreds of thousands Fauci spent to the Wuhan place for vaccine development, and the pressure to get the vaccination is incredible as the cases go down. Now we're seeing our friends having swelled hearts and various thrombosis sites or side effects of the stroke. And even if you had COVID recently, we don't care, okay? The temptation is great. You're accountable, and we would like to know where your allegiance is. Thank you very much. Excuse me, what's your name? From the court reporter, Suzanne Daniger? Would you like to address the public on something not on the agenda? From Judge Kelly. Mr. Wade, the same thing she just addressed, to send the money back to D.C. Is that on the agenda today? Judge Kelly says, no, sir. State your name and your address. My name is Frank Wade, and I'm here to ask this court today to send this money back to the Biden administration, which I consider to be the most criminal, treasonous, communist government ever to hold the White House. And Kerr County should not be accepting anything from these people. They're currently facilitating an invasion on our border, and we're going to support these people. So that's what I have to say. Thank you. Any other public input? Mr. King, applause. Please, no applause. We're here to listen. You may proceed, Mr. King. Holy fuck. Holy shit. Wait, these people are actually mind raped. Wait. Mr. King, thank you. Yeah, I'm here to talk about the money too. And I read on Thursday, I believe it was of last week, we had the commissioner meeting out at the AG barn, and I read, can you hand me that please? I'm going to read this again for everybody, if y'all would bear with me. This is section 35.9 of the Treasury Department of the United States. This is compliance with applicable laws, and everyone needs to hear that. Compliance with applicable laws for this money that we, or y'all, signed a contract for. A recipient must comply with all other applicable, federal statutes, regulations, and executive orders. And a recipient shall provide for compliance within the American Rescue Plan Act, this subpart, and any interpretive guidance by other parties in any agreement it enters into with other parties relating to these funds. Now, this goes on, and it says that they have the power that if anybody screws this up, excuse my language, and messes up the, the unidentified voice, the conformance, Mr. King, the distribution of this money, the distribution of these monies, you make a mistake, okay, then what are they going to do if we make a mistake and we're in non-compliance? Well, if they're going by executive orders and any laws that they want to make up, they can come in and take our homes. Is that correct? They can do whatever they want. They can make you take a vaccine. They can make you do this, do that. This says anything, basically, in non-compliance. And I want to ask you, Judge, and I'd like a response if you don't mind. No, sir, this is the input part of the meeting, public input only. We're not allowed to respond. Okay. Then I'm going to make a statement. On Thursday of last week at the commissioners meeting, you made a statement that everything was a rumor on this compliance law 35.9. And you made a statement that you called, I believe, Mayor Bonnie White. No, maybe I got the name wrong. I don't know. But anyway, my point is, this is in black and white. These are the laws from the federal government that apply to this contract that you have signed. So you're putting all of us under a federal mandate until 2026 when this could not be paid back. And it's at some point I want to put on the agenda that we talk about this too, because Mr. King, your time is up. Okay. Someone else. What do you think? Okay. The Treasurer, IG, and the GAO, Government Accountability Office, can access records electronically or otherwise in order to conduct audits or other investigations, I'm assuming is what they actually said here. I don't know if that is what the county and the state does, allow the federal government access to investigate you by electronically accessing your records. I don't know, but it's in this contract that you signed. I have to scratch some things. Okay, we were told that this won't be investigated in any way by any Biden executive order. That's true. Or that maybe they meant investigator. It was invested. Because the contract is with the Treasury Department, and Yellen, the secretary, has reserved rights to add additional regulations when necessary. You'll find that in here. I think that's important because I wouldn't sign a contract that somebody could add to. And I'm not going to, when I talk, I'm not going to refer to any of the 35.9 or any IRS regulations, though I did go check them, like, because that would just bore everybody. It bored me. I'm not a contract lawyer, but in a contract, there's an exchange of values between two people. So the federal government is giving us money, and what are we giving them? I think this is important. No direct or indirect decrease in taxes. We all hope and pray for tax relief. And Bandera County just lowered their tax rate. We're hoping the same thing to happen to us, but it won't under this. And who determines what's indirect? My name is Marcia King. I live here in Kerrville, and I'm going to talk about the American Rescue Plan Act. This law gave so much money available. I'm sorry, Jesus. This law made so much money available to so many local governments, like across the entire United States. Were there actually people who fought against accepting it because they thought it was some secret fucking Biden backdoor to destroy their communities? Holy shit. I live here in Kerrville, and I'm going to talk about the American Rescue Plan. I want to read. When the states and counties and cities accept the monies from the American Rescue Plan, it comes with serious strings attached. Whomever takes this money, they're contractually obliged to adhere to mandatory vaccinations of all their employees and also all subcontractors and their employees. Since these states and counties and cities have signed the contract with the devil, it supersedes an unconstitutional mandate. It is a contractual agreement. If the recipient doesn't follow these mandates, they must give the money back, and there also may be some penalties. Okay, the money can also be used to buy out small businesses, which then become part of the state-owned takeover of our economy, communist style. And as they kill all the mom-and-pop businesses and supply chain businesses, they can then mandate anything they want because of the contractual terms of the funds taken. This replaces the free market with the federal stimulus money. The federal contractual takeover of the private sector of all across America is then combined with the mass vaccination mandates in all sectors of society. The enormity of this evil is beyond belief, and it is only exceeded by our public officials, all too eager to take any money no matter what the consequence is. It is clearly imperative that we tell our county commissioners to get this dark money back and not tie ourselves to endless rounds of forced testing, contact tracing, quarantine, and forced vaccinations. This is clearly unconstitutional, but uses this overlay of the fact of contract law. I wonder there must have been somebody, some local conservative evil dipshit, or maybe Joe Rogan did this, like contract law being used to buy and steal people's businesses and homes or whatever. What is the date of this meeting? This is in 2021, I think, assuming that's what the URL is saying. Or well, no, we know it'll be right after that because it's about the American Rescue Plan funds. Our local government and these, if you push back on it in the strongest way, I ask you to send the money back, refund it. We don't need it here. Thank you. My name is Tamara Carson. I'm very concerned about the direction that this could take us as a county. And I'm just asking you, please use your wisdom and your knowledge and understanding of the laws, and please apply it to this. I'm begging you. We're landowners here. I was born and raised in Texas. I went to high school in Ingram, and I'm currently running a ranch right now, and all of this will fall down on all of us. Tax is a heavy thing, and I know that there's strings attached to this, and I know y'all know that too, and I'm just begging you, please don't accept this. I understand if you've already went through the process, but please just take a second look, please. That's all I want to say. Thank you. My name is Nikki King. Bro! How many fucking sisters did this dad fuck that he's got? Why are there 500 people with the last name King here? The fuck? My name is Nikki King, and I live here in Kerrville. I'm also a Marine Corps veteran. And we moved here from Virginia because Kerrville was so pro-veteran. Wait, Kerrville is the location where this camp, it was the place where it flooded, right? Not reading some totally fucking irrelevant. Yeah, okay. Would you do a mini elections here for midterms, or would you only necessarily for big elections? I don't know, maybe we would. And I ask that you consider the fact that if this goes through and you hand out so-called free money, which my mama always told me, nothing is free, that you will be then, according to the government, you will then be asking our local law enforcement to enforce those mandates. And that I know at least Sheriff Letha ran as a constitutional sheriff. So I ask that you reconsider accepting this money, like all the previous speakers have said, and send it back and let Kerrville take care of Kerrville. There are numerous other counties that have rejected it, and I honestly don't understand why Kerrville cannot do the same. Thank you. Oh my God. Good morning, my name is Suzanne Harston. I am recently, in the last 13 years, come to the great state of Texas. I left the People's Republic of California back in 2005. I do not want to see this great state or this great county that I live in move in that direction. So I'm begging you, like the other speakers, please do not take this money. Are you from there? Wait, who's this? The one who Ferg says, the Kings are pretty well known in town for having a stick up their asses. They were the worst customer's destiny. I'm Joe Rexick. I believe this is a recording of what you're reading. Oh, holy shit. 622 views. Hearing these people talk, I think would just be infinitely more entertaining. Wait, we won't listen to all of this, but.
I think the temptation to be too great for politicians and for this county, because it's just too easy. And I don't believe we should take the money. We should not have it. I don't trust our federal government. I don't think that they're truthful with us. And in these days and these times or whatever, we can't afford to make a mistake with this. And so do not take the money. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Let's take a 5-minute recess and come back.
Jesus fucking Christ. Wait, is this the same hearing? Wait, this is not the same hearing. How many of these fucking hearings do they have? With people crying about Biden taking over their homes. No, because this was November 8th, and this was November 22nd. What, do they have like fucking weeks of these hearings of people crying about?
Reach is likely to catastrophically affect the residents in a county where these funds are accepted. From immigrants, what we teach our children in schools. This might include mandates around gun control, property rights, energy usage, environmental restrictions, i.e. the Green New Deal, housing of illegal immigrants, what we teach our children in schools, and I could go on. Just take a hard look at the current administration offering this plan. These are just a few of the arenas where federal...
Were there any actual strings attached to the money? I mean, there were. This is part of the reason why there was such that huge surge. If you look at the graphs of like people that identify as trans now, because I think for all of the counties where they accepted this, they did force people to take, at the very least, it was the trans shots, the ones that made you want to be a guy or girl opposite of your born gender. But I mean, other than that, I don't think there was too much of a big deal about this.
Overreach is likely to catastrophically affect the residents in a county.
What exact language are they even looking at the funding stipulations? I can literally see the entire fucking framework, the entire history and future. I know exactly what happened. And by no, I mean, I'm going to guess. There's probably language in the federal grant my guess is that in every single federal grant, there is this exact same language that says something along the lines of any funds that you take, you have to comply with whatever federal blah, 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 blah. It's probably a super standard thing in every federal thing because you're accepting money from the government, and there's probably some, like, you can't use the money to fund like the KKK or something. There was probably some local radio host or Facebook guy or fucking Tim Pool or whatever probably read it, and they were like, it says here that you have to comply with all federal regulations when you accept the grant money. So does that mean that if Biden were to pass a regulation saying that he could fuck your wife, now all of a sudden, if you've accepted that grant money retroactively, he can go and fuck your wife and you just have to sit there and stare? Like that sounds like, it sounds like that's the argument that these people are running. I was going to say I'm not aware of, but no, it didn't happen because I know it didn't happen because if it did, conservatives would be talking about it nonstop. There were no counties where they like accepted grant money and then Biden came in and they stole their fucking homes. Although I will say, now that I remember, this exact same stupid fucking conspiracy came up a year or two ago when FEMA was trying to disperse funds in Georgia. Was it Georgia? Where there were these fucking special ops retards that were running around, you know, trying to defend their neighborhoods from FEMA coming in, because if FEMA were to lend you or give you $300 for your house, if you didn't pay it back, they would steal your home or something. Oh, was it North Carolina? So, I mean, like, it's the same. Fuck these people, dude. I have no sympathy. Fuck them. Whatever, dude. Sorry. I'm having a schizo moment. This can't possibly be... This can't be real. What the fuck? I get too triggered on fucking stupid shit like this. I don't care. Let's go. We're going full send. I don't give a fuck. Give me the Twitter hate. I'm ready, bro. I got 5 fully loaded mags, okay? I'm just kidding. I love you, FBI.
county where these funds are accepted. At the end of this contract, audits will be done, and if non-compliance to its draconian terms are found, the funds must be returned, likely with interest. Debt is all.
What? Like, what are these rumors? Wait, what does that even mean?
The funds must be, and if non-compliance to its draconian terms are found, the funds must be returned.
Draconian? I thought they were ultra progressive terms. Is it draconian to make all the kids trans?
Likely with interest. Debt has always been used as an instrument to subjugate the borrowers and extract value from them. Look at any country indebted to the World Bank. Any elected official in the county takes an oath to uphold the Texas Constitution, which enshrines the God-given rights that we individuals are born with. Any official who signs off on a contractual agreement that takes away those rights is abrogating his or her oath of office and sworn responsibility to the people who elected them.
Who wrote this for her? She definitely didn't write this. She absolutely wrote this. Remember, like, there's internet people and then there's like real life people. There were a group of people that were super invested in politics before the internet, though, and those are called your local politics people. And they are the I said this when we were doing the canvassing for Nebraska and some of the other states. I don't know if you guys just didn't believe me. Local politics is sometimes the craziest politics. It wouldn't surprise me if she not only wrote this statement, she probably helped like friends write statements to come up here and make a presentation too. Like, yeah, she absolutely fucking wrote this shit on her own.
Commit to lend my efforts with those of any others who are interested, if it comes to this, to collect signatures on affidavits, which would hold any county official signing off on these funds personally liable for any damages for abandoning their oath according to the Bill of Rights and the Texas and U.S. Constitution. Send this Judas money back. This plan
The Judas money.
is not a rescue plan. It is a procurement plan.
How did I not hear about that? Dude, that American Rescue Plan shored up so many state and local budgets. There was so much money that was just given out to states because there was so much, there were so many funding issues relating to the lockdowns and everything else. They showed up so many budgets. I didn't know there were so many counties that were fighting to not accept free money.
Thank you.
Bill, Mr. Kennedy, did you want to speak? Okay. Michael Piper.
Hello again, Commissioners, Judge. Thank you for hearing me today. Everybody that's spoken today has talked about the contract and how it could turn into something really bad for the citizens of Kerr County. I'm not going to drive that point in the ground anymore. I think y'all got the point on that. But I'm here to tell you that me, myself, personally, will not be mandated by anybody out of Washington. I'm a Texan. I want you all to make the right decisions here. That's why we put you here. If something comes down from Washington, guys, man, you live in the county too. These people know where you live. Man, look what happened to Stalin. It's not a threat, Sheriff. That's not a threat. That's a warning. That's a warning. Because
this is about accepting free money. You've already paid this. This reminds me of when DeSantis, when my governor sent money back to the federal government. Why did you do that? They already gave it to us. It's like giving your your allowance back to your mom and dad when they don't need it. What the fuck? Why would you do that?
we are Texans. We fought a revolution to get away from an oppressive government, and we will not have it.
I don't know any like Spanish-American War shit. What is that a reference to? What did that? Was there? Is he talking about this? He's not talking about the Civil War, right? Is he talking about? Is there? I don't know anything about the Spanish-American War. The American Revolution? No, I feel it's got to be like, yeah, Mexican-American War or something. I don't believe that Texas was one of the original colonies. I could be wrong. My geography's real bad.
We will not have it. Reagan said there's
They took Texas from Mexico. Civil war between USA and Mexico. Okay, I don't know anything about that war, but okay.
nothing more true to eternal life than a government program. Thomas Jefferson said, if you can save the government from stealing the man's labor, you will have liberty. Benjamin Franklin said himself that if you want security, or if you give up your security and your liberty, or if you give up your liberty for security, you will end up with neither. That's the way it is. I've been in this county all my life. I love this county. We got your back, Sheriff. If the Sheriff's Department needs anything, these citizens are going to step up. I guarantee you, we got your back, Sheriff. Been doing an excellent job for us in this county. I think that's about all I got to say. Y'all probably tired of hearing from me, but.
Good evening and welcome to a special edition of Tucker Carlson Tonight.
This is from 2019. You're retarded if you link this. Tinted.
I appreciate what y'all have done for us and what you're going to do for us because I have faith in you guys to make the right decisions. I really do. Thank God.
Kathleen Oker.
Good morning. My name is Kathleen Oker, and I'm a resident of Kerr County. I thank you, gentlemen, for the opportunity to address ARPA funds today. I strongly urge you to return this money now. This money is not free, and all federal money comes with strings attached. Should these strings be such things as regulations, statutes, executive orders, or mandates, and they would be unacceptable, that are unacceptable for our county, we would have the opportunity to repay it. Kerr County includes an army of intelligent and competent residents and officials who are quite capable of determining what is best for our area. We do not need Washington bureaucrats making mandates for us to follow. Perhaps the most feared statement in any situation is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Please vote to return this money immediately. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Robert, is it Fearon? I think it's F-E-R-O-N or Fearon, I'm not sure.
Yeah, Robert. That's it, Judge. Nobody else is upstairs.
Okay, I've got Lori Adams and Todd Kinsey. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My husband and I escaped from Austin 5 years ago.
Escaped.
And we live in Center Point. We're very happy. We're not happy about this ARPA money. Agreeing to the terms and conditions of this Treasury Department funding. By the way, Treasury Department directed, they're in bed with BlackRock. Does everybody know?
It's every conspiracy theory. This is what I'm talking about. By the way, all the memes and the funny programs that we watch and the Joe Rogans and the Tim Pools, this is where it fucking ends up. Just so you know, it's not only memes, okay? Well, the only thing your kids can say are because they're fucking drowning, right? When all of your services are failing and your citizens are literally rejecting free fucking money from the government to do shit. This is where it ends up, unironically.
Treasury Department directed, they're in bed with BlackRock. Does everybody know who BlackRock is? Look it up. So this is art of words, so-called relief funds. They come with massive strings. We're all concerned about this outrageous executive order mandating private business to require everyone to be vaccinated. Never mind that many businesses are doing it anyway, regardless of what courts are saying. But what happens when the feds or the president emperor decides that we have to abide by every edict, perhaps tied to sanctuary for illegals, any regulation pertaining to gun ownership, and the Second Amendment, or maybe local lockdowns to our economy because of so-called climate control issues? Audits will take place in 4 to 5 years, and non-compliance will mean penalties, including returning money that has already been spent. I don't have time to go into it, but look up Confessions of an Economic Hitman, because that's a playbook for what we're seeing here. Also, if you would, please look up Mike Adams' article about this. The headline is COVID relief funds distributed to cities and states require full compliance with Biden vaccine mandates. Counties can use money to bankrupt and replace local businesses. I've been trying to share that on social media and they won't let me. Know that small business and nonprofits will be lured into applying for all this money. Food pantries and others, and every person associated with them will be forced to comply with all of this. And what else in the future? Look up 30 by 30, or as they're now rebranding it, America the Beautiful, I think. And then think hard about your property rights. Why don't you ask some of the other communities who plan to refuse this funding, apparently on principle? I'm not sure, but I think Brady, Spring Branch, and Mason might be a start. The terms and conditions of this funding are not standard, contrary to what some would have you believe. I can't and would not quote Rusty, our former sheriff, but I think he said something at some point before he retired about not taking federal grants because he might have to jail a man with female inmates because of the man claimed to identify as a woman. I went to YouTube and searched for this topic, ARPA. The propaganda is amazing. I guess people for now think money is free. Let's face it, this so-called rescue plan is bondage. I've heard it called a poison apple and a Trojan horse. That is accurate. But I always think about what my dad, who passed in 2010, when served his country, said. Communism is encroaching, and this country will fall without them finding a shot.
Communism?
Please face this decision now. Send the money back, and do not enslave the citizens of this county and their children.
Todd Kinsey.
Todd Kinsey, I live here in Kerrville. Thanks for everyone who spoke. Probably should have ended on that last one because very, very well articulated. I'm just going to mumble up here. I moved my family here from Colorado 2.5 years ago, and was thankful to get to Texas before this nonsense all started. But I got to tell you, I've been disappointed at times in the amount of, I guess I expected Texas to man up a little bit more, and I've been disappointed at times. And so, as sitting here, I was thinking, how do I relate this to my own life? And if someone were to offer me some money that had some strings attached to it, my convictions tell me to say no. And so, I would just ask you all to think about it in that way. And as men of God, we're called to do the right thing. And so I would just...
Property is platted or revised, the county typically requires right-of-way dedication. However, the developer has requested this portion of Indian Mound Road to remain as an easement, as Eric has indicated.
Distribution rate was 13.22%, and they recommend us to increase that to 14.72%.
I actually have to have two bonds. One is with the comptroller's office.
Wow, good one. Intro screen.
Number 4. Okay. And a motion and a second to approve establishing
we can't hear. We can't understand that. If you speak up, speak up loudly so we can hear you.
It's cutting out.
Are you on speakerphone, Mr. Kimbrough?
Here for final form. I'm just going to put the cursor where the precinct 1 gathering moves northwest. Put it on. And look at the numbers.
Okay. If you could zoom out. Zoom
south a little bit, Josh, to get this area.
Well, I think that,
all right. That right?
It would help if you zoomed out a little bit and then let us zoom back in, so we can, because we can see where the road's dead end and explain them to you.
Okay.
As I'm looking at.
You need to zoom out more than.
Down, then the timber line starts again.
That makes sense.
And it looks like it's some right of way over to the west.
We're not cutting somebody out.
We already have that.
They could be talking about a million different things for these.
Court will have the results of the community survey. And one of the things that the ARPA funds speak to is that you really
Oh, that's another ARPA one.
should let your community have input. We may not agree with all the things you want to do, but we would like for you to have at least the input so that we get a little guidance out of it. Okay, and then that list. And then these are the allowable projects. This list, we probably are not going to put this on the website. She's shaking her head.
Yeah,
You know, well, I mean, we can look at this as we look at the applications later, but it's not something that's on the website.
If something that we disagree with, then we go for a different direction. I don't see how that helps us at all.
Laura, do you want to come?
And I think the first step is for the court to have a discussion, which I thought we were going to do today, on what we believe the sources of the funds and types of areas the funds should be used at.
Okay, and so I have one point on that to make. Yes. Okay, so to that topic, exactly. I was under the impression that there were 9 categories from the expenditure sheet that were chosen.
Not by me.
Okay, so let's do that then. And that way, instead of using all of this information and opening it up for everyone, you can narrow down the project list. How's that? Would that help?
That would help.
And you would be responsible, you guys, you 5 up there would be responsible for narrowing down the list. Would that work?
Let me ask you a question. Does this funding require the public process that we described this morning?
No. No. I think the funding does not, there's nowhere in the law that says you must have.
What specifically was this money meant to be used for if it had passed? My understanding is the ARPA funds could be used for a huge range of things. You could use these on like fucking almost anything. But one of the things that had been spoken about, I guess, for a while was having like a big like a siren warning system, I guess, for flood stuff. But they kept kicking the can down the road on this because they didn't, I guess, have the money initially to do it. But I don't know if they ever, did they just never spend any of this ARPA money at all? Or did they, is there a way to find out, like to track ARPA funds? The people didn't want to spend any of the ARPA money because it was tied to the Biden admin. Even the judge suggests just holding on to the money so that it can't be sent to states that don't share the same value. Oh yeah, that was the,
As long as we're transparent.
I think that a lot of counties in the United States are opening it up for public discussion because they feel that they want that input. However, they have limited it to the areas for discussion to maybe 4 or 5 out of the sheet. So they may have said, well, we're not interested in 1, 2, or 3, but we are interested in 1.4. So 1.4 becomes an area that we want to look at. So put 1.4 and maybe choose 5 out of this list. So all of your projects that come in will fit under those 5 categories.
Lori, let me what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I know I probably used bad metaphor when I talked about London water on this, but everybody's lining up trying to some of this stuff. That's as it should be. I understand that. I'm worried about what is not eligible for these funds, because that's where the clawback exposure is. And we know that anything that's on this list, this front back list that we're going to get out to the public, we know that qualifies. And Grant Works can review the request for application, the intent to submit, and come back and tell us thumbs up. This is something we can consider. I'm concerned about the things that don't qualify. What's ineligible? And I don't think, and so I'm asking Grant, ineligible uses. And so for me, and I think for the public, what's most important to know is what is not eligible. If it's not eligible, it might not be the greatest thing in the world, but if it's not eligible, we might not be considering it for these funds. Okay? But it also says that changes that reduce tax revenue are things, if we spend this money on things that we would ordinarily spend tax revenue on, is that going to be a callback item with the federal government to say, well, that's you don't pay any budget?
That's right.
That's what concerns me. If we do that, what happens to us?
And payback.
I'm just reading it. I think that we need to go onto this list and look at it and maybe send back to Grant Work and say, well, let's probably do it before we walk with all the soliciting for all this. I don't do this survey, and all that. Do the public meeting, that's fine. But I think it's this forced decision, what's going to help the taxpayer. That's why we're elected.
I suspect you know where you want to.
But I think that a communication system for the sheriff department is a very high priority. We have been knowing, we've been told this is a problem for years. System for the sheriff department is a very high priority. No, if it's not eligible, no, I don't send the money there. But I think that a communication system for the sheriff department is a very high priority. We have been knowing, we've been told this is a problem for years.
I've already publicly said that that's my number one concern with this. Getting the sheriff department, talking to the police department, volunteer fire departments all on the same wavelength, upgrading everything, get up to the century standards.
You know, my thinking, and I may be wrong, is you cast out the net and see what you get, and then bring back the fish that you can eat, or the good things that are in that net. Throw out the turtles and the, you know, that's a kind of a weird analogy. But by having this community input, you have cast that net. And not everybody's going to agree with us. But it doesn't say because the community said anything, we have to do such and such. It's all going to be up to you guys. Hello, Mr. Baloo.
Hi, it's Lori again. I have one more thing to comment on. And
She sounds pissed that they did an open, or that they're going to have an open hearing on this. They're like, why'd you ask? There's probably some local policy. They probably have to solicit feedback.
that is that during this workshop, if there is a need for communications from the sheriffs, then they should put in an intent to submit. They become part of this process. And so we'll have their paperwork as well as somebody else's paperwork. And they'll be graded accordingly. Sheriff communication is number 1.8 on this list. It's a definite yes as far as using it and getting our funds.
This is what I'm trying to get my head around.
Okay.
That's under category number 1, public health.
Yep.
Okay? That has to be directly tied to COVID.
Yes, and it can be. It can be. There is information in the rule itself, in the interim rule, that I can cite for you where it says it in there as far as communication. So yeah, you can definitely justify that.
Okay. Because we'll look over on number 5. We've got clean water, drinking water, and broadband. Infrastructure.
Right.
Those are the ones that don't have to be tied.
That's correct. That's correct.
But I think the public, I mean, the spectrum of understanding that you've been telling us is that we can spend money on something that's going to improve, that was a problem when COVID was here, and we spend money on something that's going to improve it in the future, which would be the communication to the sheriff's department. That's why it qualifies, correct?
Well, it qualifies because under the rule, that was part of some of the problems that people faced, is they didn't have a connection with communication between these services. Ambulances weren't talking to the sheriff's department, weren't talking with 911. There wasn't a communication, it was a real lack. So that's why you find it on here. And a lot of counties are doing exactly what you're asking to do. Now again, Grant Works is not going to tell you how to spend your money. I can just tell you if it's eligible, and in that case, it's eligible.
I wonder if she works for the state, or if she's like a go-between federal office. Probably not. Probably like maybe a state employee or something, or maybe just in the communications office or something.
Well, then it seems, if we're going to do the survey, something different with the survey, I think we need to be clear as to the types of projects that we're looking at. And I think the form that was in here, and it sounds like Lori's recommended that we go through this and somehow in the next, however long, figure out what categories we want to ask the public to give us input on. Obviously, two days later.
Only because it narrows your list.
And I think in the workshop next Thursday, we can, in the course of the presentation, bring in some of these things that you're saying now. We can make that group aware, and by doing it on YouTube, those people will become aware of it, and then using your media to expand the need for it. By the time the deadline for intent to submit comes, or the time for the applications come, I think you're going to narrow it down some just by attrition, because people are going to say, I'd like to have such and such. It's really more important for the sheriff's office to be able to know where to find me, or.
Yeah, and I'm personally because these framework helps. Because I think that the county clerk's request or idea.
A certain amount of their award to cover the other types of services that the county doesn't provide itself. Just another thought about
I
this.
think as long as the public is very much aware that the likelihood of getting funded is too small, almost. First,
I can't read materials that they put out to us. And when I look at these, and I read off these categories, public health, negative economic impact. I know Jackson talked just about that. We've got services to disproportionately impacted communities. We've got premium pay for our essential workers. And then we've got infrastructure. And the only one that's not tied to COVID is the infrastructure. It's pretty clear to me that Congress somehow intended for us to use these funds for more than just supplementing the county's needs. This is just not about the county gets the money, so we're going to pay what needs to be done for county money. Because I don't want a fallback. And so I'm expressing my concern now. Don't let us go down the wrong path. If we do this, are we going to be criticized for it? And I can tell you, if we don't listen to all the public's needs, I think that's going to subject us to criticism.
I think we're pretty transparent. I have no problem with the survey. I just want the expectation to be real, that the likelihood of getting the funds is pretty small in my opinion, and the requirements, if you do get some, are going to be pretty onerous. And that's a fact, because that's what we have to work on these programs. I mean, the requirements is tough. And I'm doing it. And
The money's there, and we could come back to that at some point.
Okay.
Since it's on the list, we can use it at any time.
Okay.
All obviously, we had that conversation with Peterson, and they had that severe shortage. Right. And I don't know if they're going to want to submit an application or not. I don't know that we would agree to fund it. But they certainly have had extraordinary assistance. There's no question about that.
the sir.
Okay, well, I'll just put a question mark by that one, we can go back to it.
Leave it on there. I think
Okay.
we're agreeing.
Oh, you want to leave it on? Okay, I'll let you think about leave medical facilities on there. One? Okay, we'll put a question mark by it. Okay, 1.7, capital investments for physical plant changes for public facilities that respond to the COVID-19 public health emergency.
We've already done that.
Guidance.
I'm not aware of any pending things like that.
Yeah, I don't think this is not ultra high on my list, I think it's
Okay.
possible. But, as an example, are we talking about the Hooker Event Center, improving the ventilation or electrical in the one room? That's the kind of thing it could be.
Only because it's an evacuation center,
Right.
potential evacuation center.
Yeah, emergency
Cool.
operations center.
Yeah.
So it could, it could be.
I think that.
I suspect there's
Whoa!
not money.
Shut up.
Not to do something like that.
But I mean, but I could say on the list.
Well, the other thing, let's take a hypothetical. The Methodist Church provided a place for people to come and get their shots for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Could they come and make a grant application for their staff and their utilities cost during that time?
Well, this is capital investment in physical capital, so there's other categories for that.
Yeah.
But this would be for more.
Right.
Okay, so we're leaving that one in?
The question on that is, what about internal communications in the courthouse?
I think this meeting is just these people must be compliance workers with the local government and the people here asking questions. Not people. These are, I guess, the commissioners or whatever, are just figuring out how to apply or do all that shit. Okay, whatever. Good luck. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Is this a real? I'm sorry. This is what I clicked the TikTok on, but it's not a real. I think. Shut up. Trump today at his rally in Allentown, Pennsylvania. By the way, nice trucks. Do you think I could hop into one of them and drive it away? I'd love to do it. Just drive the hell out of here. Just get the hell out of this. I had such a good life. My life was great. Why would I ever? You mentioned Doe needing to update their complaint earlier. What happens if they don't? I don't know if it matters. All of it is basically just, I need those fucking rulings to come out. I was hoping someone would get posted today. I wonder if it's good or bad that it's taking so long. What if it normally takes them longer to issue a preliminary injunction or longer to say no to one? If we get a 940 or higher, all of the rulings are in our favor. 960 or higher, and the magistrate judge recommends the case to be tossed. Come on. We got a 960. Plug the fuck in. Hold on. Plug in. Plug in. Okay, whatever. We'll get favorable rulings at least. Why is this even? Dad speaks out against Anissa and Ian.
I almost quit when she called me because Harley was out. I was talking to Harley. Harley was talking about his frustrations. I'm 44 freaking years old. This is high school garbage. Well, this is a video I didn't want to make, but here we are. You didn't know Creator Clash 3 is canceled.
Oh no. Wait, when did that happen?
completely over. It's done. It's not happening. But I was hoping and trying and praying it would work out and things would be fine and I'd be able to box for my third time. I'd have a trilogy in Creator Clash and I'd have 3 first-round wins. That was my goal and that was my plan. I started training last November and now here in July, I'm finally on pause with training because Creator Clash 3 is completely done. And even though Creator Clash 3 isn't happening, there still is going to be an effort to raise some money for the charity for Stand Up to Cancer. Aaron from Real Good, from Game Grumps, wants to try to still push people and do some fun things to raise money for charity. And I would like to do my 24-hour dance stream. I mentioned it before. I was going to do it leading up to the event. I was going to dance for nonstop for 24 hours. And as I'm dancing, we're doing different things to raise money. Please stay tuned for that. Keep your eyes peeled. The good news is you will be able to see me fight at some point. I have been talking to Misfits Boxing. It will happen some point this year. I'm guessing around the fall. So
almost all of those talking points in those meetings is from a backstage Daily Wire video a few months prior. Streamed July 28th, 2021. I don't care about Creator Clash, sorry. Wait.
Well,
the truth is the truth. And this attraction that we feel to women's bodies is part of our humanity. We're embodied creatures. We're here to reproduce.
I actually said this on Twitter this week. I've told you that I used Policy Genius and I went
There's this frightening conglomeration.
Although this is the second time that you've affirmed something that this is way too.
I'm going to try and make it intelligent. The conglomeration of powers that is now, the corporations, the government, the media, the academy. Imagine for a moment if the churches had stood up against the lockdowns. If they had said what John MacArthur at Grace Church in California said, he said, I'm not here to protect people from the flu. I'm here to protect.
What is your opinion on people who are naturally immune, who naturally have the antibodies? Like, where is that in the discussion?
It is, again, an insane failure of the public health establishment not to even talk about this. Right. There are some good studies out of Israel that suggest that not only is natural immunity a result of infection, but also that natural immunity may be more durable. Right? That's what the studies from Israel are suggesting. And when we make
common sense suggests that too.
Yes,
right?
when you make these herd immunity.
Common sense does not suggest that. There's no reason to necessarily intuitively believe that.
Sort of arguments over what percentage of the population is vaccinated, it would be remiss not to actually say how many people. I mean, how do we not even have that stat? How do we not even have the stat as to how many people who are not vaccinated already got COVID and were diagnosed with COVID?
What happened to the ticker on CNN that was counting up infections? And basically by now, everybody should have had COVID, and yet they're telling us that doesn't matter. Everyone has to get the vaccine.
And it's also an easy way for the media to elide one reason why a lot of people are not getting the vaccine. If you talk to people who are not getting the vaccine, there are a bunch of reasons why people aren't getting the vaccine. Some range from the completely unreasonable to the somewhat reasonable. And the somewhat reasonable is, I had COVID 3 months ago, and I was diagnosed with COVID, and I have natural immunity now, so I don't need the vaccine. Right? I have not heard any scientists really speak to, does the vaccine make
I had chickenpox when I was a kid. I wouldn't just go get the chickenpox vaccine for no reason.
You got chickenpox parties when people were kids.
That's what we had, chickenpox
But I think you're missing an important aspect of this, which is that the vaccine mandates are not about public health. At this point, vaccine mandate is about making you bend the knee.
It's the imposition.
Yes. Yeah. You must acknowledge the power of the ruling class. You must acknowledge the authority of the media, the authority.
Oh yeah. Now, this is why they're talking about expanding testing into small children for whether we should use the vaccine.
Choose not to get the vaccine, which is their God-given right. So some of them are requiring you now to get vaccinated. The Veterans Affairs Office today announced that they're going to require vaccinations from the greatest act of mass hysteria and overreach by governments on a global scale in human history is what we've just lived through. And now, as we're coming out the other side, as the vaccines have been widely dispersed, certainly dispersed enough such that everyone in this country who wants a vaccine has had the opportunity to have the vaccine. At this very moment, our federal government and certain state and local governments are considering forcing you to mask again so that you can protect people who choose not to get the vaccine, which is their God-given right. So some of them are requiring you now to get vaccinated. The Veterans Affairs Office today announced that they're going to require vaccinations from federal workers, which, if it were happening in reverse, you would say that it was a backhanded attempt to drive the opposition party out of what few positions they have left in the federal government. And we're supposed to take all of that lying down. In fact, social media has an entire list of things that we can and cannot say on this show if we don't want to lose our ability to speak on social media in the future. And you may say, well, just say it anyway, but we can't sacrifice our voice on this and other important issues just to be reckless and cavalier about the things that we say. But you should know, we can't raise any question as to whether or not vaccines, the efficacy of vaccines. You can't raise any questions about the efficacy of masks. You can't raise any questions about the danger, the threat of COVID to small children unless you are incredibly precise and say, not that COVID does not appear to have a high fatality rate among children under 12. Like even that, they're probably going to flag us and then decide it was okay. Well, he was very technically correct. And all of this goes to the central question. Is it the right of governments to combat misinformation simply because they have determined that misinformation is creating some sort of nuisance to public safety or public health?
I think you're being way too kind that that's why they're doing it. The Biden administration has made it very clear that the people they blame for misinformation are conservatives, Fox News. And the thing is, that's literally untrue. The reason conservatives...
It's literally true. They literally settled the largest lawsuit in all of fucking defamation corporate history because of how much they were intentionally... God, I hate these people. They're evil. They're evil people. Don't care. All right, I don't care about this. All right. Update on Asian Slur Girl.
Miss Sierra done got kicked off the show. All that mean girl energy just went on to waste. And now your best friend, the one that you rode for and the one that you trusted, snatched your man up. Tragic. Oh, mean girl energy never wins.
That girl was radiating the most cunty fucking mean girl energy I've ever seen literally in my entire fucking life. Holy shit. This is the kind of girl that goes out with friends and cockblocks every single friend she has because there are literal cobwebs up in that fucking pussy. Guaranteed! Don't care. Doesn't matter. Okay, where are we? Did you see Peter from the Vaccine Debate talk about you on Twitter watching this in the chat during it? I think I saw one thing, but... Hey, I wanted to say thank you for showing your note-taking methods on stream for research projects. It helped me a lot for my AP exam this year, and I got a 5 on all my classes. Oh, well, good job. My note-taking on stream has been very, very, very bad. But it's because it's boring to actually sit and like have me take proper notes, unfortunately. Sometimes I go through after stream and I clean them up a little bit. I need to be doing that more, but... Is this there? No, don't do it. Wait. Wait, what is this? This is so fucking stupid. Is this airsoft? Jesus Christ. I gotta take a break from online politics. Where am I? Oh, where are we? Okay, don't. Stop. What is this?
Is what I hear when I'm being yelled at is people caring loudly at me.
Now, I have a few things I want to say about Laura Linney. There is a disturbing lack of benches in Ramsey Park. I want to sit more.
I found a sandwich in one of your parks, and I want to know why it didn't have mayonnaise. What's so funny?
Oh. Hold on. I get worried sometimes when they do TV shows like this, okay? For a lot of you city folk or something, I get worried. You guys see stuff like this, and I don't know if you guys think that all of this is just insanely wacky, crazy shit that they like invent for the show. This is the exact type of shit. If you work customer service, people will come up and complain about shit like this. People will make the most asinine, unbelievably fucking stupid and unhinged complaints ever in your entire fucking life, okay?
Mayonnaise.
You can't even imagine. You wouldn't be able to fathom the crazy things that people will say to you.
What's so funny?
Oh.
What are you, some kind of moron? Why don't you have hand dryers in the park bathrooms? They're so much more sanitary than paper towels. Anyone knows that.
Ham and mayonnaise.
No.
Ham and mayonnaise.
No.
Ham and mayonnaise. Except for turnip. Except for turnip.
My daughter's 5.
Well, your daughter is an idiot. Her daughter is an idiot. Her daughter
She's 5. I mean,
is an
she is an
idiot.
idiot,
Her daughter
probably.
is an idiot.
No, she's not.
I made this in one of your pottery classes. It's terrible.
If sugar is so bad, how come Jesus made it taste so good?
My bird is missing. I need a permit to post signs.
Let me just look for that form.
There's no time. He can fly.
With the government shut down, who's going to stop Al-Qaeda?
But isn't all food bad for you? I've been eating lasagna and muffins every day of my life for 40 years, and I feel terrible.
How do you like it? Huh? No! How do you like that? Now imagine you're holding coffee.
Now, why should the Bill of Rights be in the official time capsule, but this painting of my dog is in time capsule 7?
I mean, where are my kids supposed to play? The rock quarry?
I have so many casino stories. I don't remember if I told this one or not before. I don't remember her name, but she was old lady, nice. Back then when we were just the Horseshoe, before Harrah's and eventually Seavers. I don't know who owns it now. The highest level is called 7 stars, and then below that was the diamond level, okay? I think a 7-star customer is somebody who had a gambling, I think they had to have at least, I think it was $100,000 of play a year. I think it was that. We didn't figure this out until it was months in, but this lady would always come to our diner. We were in the back near the poker room, JB's Cafe in the Horseshoe in Council Bluffs. I don't know if it's still called the Horseshoe Diner, but this lady would come back. She would always order like a 2-egg breakfast. She'd say like a 2-egg breakfast, but I'm sorry. She would order. She'd get it free because all of their food is comped, and then she would go and she would sit in the corner of the restaurant, and we figured this out. We put this together afterwards. She would look for servers, and every time she would go up to a server, she would ask for 2 to-go boxes because she wanted to take the eggs to give to one person and the toast to another person. And by the end, I don't know who caught this. It was either us or the buffet, but she ends up leaving with like 2 bags with 3 of these to-go boxes each, and then she would walk over to the buffet. And then she would go up to the buffet, she'd get a plate full of food, go down, and then she would start to load. All of the boxes were empty that we'd given her because she didn't have that much food. And she would load up all of her boxes with food, and then she would take that home because she was spending all of her money at the casino. So she would just steal money she would steal food from the buffet and then go home in our to-go boxes. I think I told the story. There was this one, I felt bad because she was really attractive, like 21-year-old Asian girl that used to play poker all the time. And there was this rumor that she was like sucking dick in the parking lot for people to buy her in for just like 1-3 games. So it was like $200 or $300 basically. And I remember that rumor had went around the poker room for a few months. And then one day, it was pretty busy, so it must have been on a swing shift. She was outside the poker room like crying because I think 2 bosses had run her down because she had like a gambling problem. And I don't know if it's like this in every casino. Like they say, oh, casinos will just steal your money, blah, blah, blah. But if they think you have like a problem, at least in our casino, you'd be kicked the fuck out. Because I don't think casinos need like super addicted people who are, wasting their life and stealing money from friends to gamble. They just want lots of people. So if they thought you had a problem, they would kick you the fuck out. It later came out because I think she was mutual friends with a lot of other people that I knew. There were these 2 Greek guys I knew, Dimitri and then a couple of Turkish dudes, Murat and Murad, that me and Chris would play poker with every Saturday. And we found out that this girl had, her parents sent her money for school, and she told them that she was going to school, but she took all of the money to the casino and gambled all of it away. And after like 2 years, apparently they'd found out, and that was part of her crash out and why she had to start borrowing money from other people and shit. Your casino had a bunch of Asian dudes, not Asian dudes, Vietnamese people, some Chinese people, lots of Vietnamese people, lots of people with the last names Nguyen and Tran, Wen and Tran. Like there were so many Wens and so many Trans, and then a few Chinese people, no Japanese people, no Koreans. I don't know what it was for Omaha. Why it was just, yeah, I don't know. Were they elderly or young? They were generally older. They always played Baccarat. And then they would always come to the casino, or they would always come back to our diner because we served the soup, phao, or whatever. They would always come and order phao. And then I learned from you guys, from white kids when I was 25, that apparently you're supposed to call it pho, is apparently how you guys all call it, but that's what I'd always come up and order. Did you ever meet an NG? I might have seen that on an ID once, but usually it was Wen and Tran. The Wen is Nguyen or something. Clicky. Sure depends on the county where you are, but it's all Chinese people in Vegas, according to my buddy who's a pit boss on the strip. I never worked. I only worked in Council Bluffs.
President guts all of the early warning systems and the weathering forecast abilities of the government. These are the results that we're going to start to see on a daily basis.
The incident comes as the Trump administration is making deep cuts to weather forecasting services.
We're also learning that there were significant staffing shortfalls of the National Weather Service's offices in the region.
I don't think it's helpful to have missing key personnel from the National Weather Service not in place to help prevent these tragedies.
But the White House correcting the record. The National Weather Service provided early and consistent warnings. They gave out timely flash flood alerts. There were record-breaking lead times in the lead up to this catastrophe. There is ongoing flood monitoring, and these offices were well staffed. In fact, one of the...
I'm so curious. Can we take that one step further then? So then, was it like the retarded camp counselors, or what happened? Like, who are we blaming here for this then? Or was this just a totally unavoidable disaster? I bet it was the goddamn teenage camp counselors were probably fucking each other back in the tents when the kids were drowning. Who gets it? Who's there? I was going to tweet a joke about that, but I feel like nobody actually saw Jason 1 or whatever.
The offices was actually overstaffed. So just take it from me, politicizing weather events is not good, and it shouldn't happen. But this happened, Jesse, and great to have you back. Around 4 a.m.
The origin story for Jason for Friday the 13th was supposed to be I think he was mentally retarded or developmentally disabled, or he just looked weird. Kid was at Camp Crystal, and then he falls into the water, but the teenage staff are so busy fucking each other, I guess, that he drowns, and then he comes out of the water later and he kills them all.
a.m. when everyone was asleep, the river was rising, there was a torrential downpour, so the conditions were absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, Dan, we're praying for the family.
Crystal Lake? I thought it was Camp Crystal. Oh, no, it might be Crystal Lake. My bad.
And hope they do find some survivors. There's a school of thought in the left that says the more people you have, the better results you get. I don't know about that, because imagine this show was called The 10, and they blew up the table, and everybody talked. You'd never have time for Animals Are Great, and they'd have to pay these people twice as much.
They call that CNN.
They call the boxes? Yes. Exactly. Or look at I think they call it the golden age of Hollywood. Jessica, pay attention to this one. Back in the day, they had one studio head, okay? And he was the risk taker, made all the decisions, and he had an army of writers, producers, and directors. So he'd approve a script, they'd get it up, and all of a sudden, box office hit. Today...
His mom killed the dudes? Oh, shit, did she? Oh, fuck, you might be right. Oh my God, I just fucked up my Jason lore. Because the mom is she actually alive at the end? Or is she like a hallucination from Jason's mind? I don't remember now. That's the sequels? And the first one that is? Okay, fuck, I don't remember that.
There's, I don't know, an army of executives. They have so many people making decisions that no...
It's confusing because the lore got retconned in the sequels. Yeah, I only follow the official lore established past Jason X, so...
decision ever gets done, so they just have to reboot old hits. Like, that's why you have Jurassic Park 17. Stephanopoulos should lose his job. This guy's already cost Disney $20 million. He's making about $20 million, and he's got to go because he says that they're understaffed. Now, with the resources that ABC has, they could make one phone call and find out they had plenty of people. But Politico, with a fraction of the staff, gets the right answer. So this guy's going to get iced out for the next 4 years. No one's going to touch him, and he's just dead man walking. These people have emotional problems and bad religion. Let me give you an example, Jessica.
I will fund an Alex Jones of the left. I want to get some fat fucking dude to go down there and talk about who are these kids? Where are they at? Are they crisis actors? What's going on down here? I don't know. Were any of these kids real?
And it's good to be back around the table. This climate change thing is a religion to these people because they believe that weather is punishing us for being a rich and successful and prosperous nation. And all they need to do to appease the rain gods is to have everybody use their sacred things like solar panels and stupid cars. And
like, this sounds like a bad movie. This is a bad movie script, right? Where the authoritarian or weird, like, fasci dictator guys are like, and the left wants us to believe that nature is punishing us just because we're rich and successful, and they want us to use green energy to steal all of your cool things.
Example, Jessica, and it's good to be back around the table. This climate change thing is a religion to these people because they believe that weather is punishing us for being a rich and successful and prosperous nation. And all they need to do to appease the rain gods is to have everybody use their sacred things like solar panels and stupid cars and windmills. And that's what's going to save lives. All right. And then you have people that blame everything on Donald Trump. So if they get fired, if they stub their toe, if there's a virus, it's his fault. And so you're walking around and dealing with people that are like suspicious pagans. All right.
Suspicious pagans. As we just read through hundreds of lines of citizens speaking to the Kerr County Commissioner's office about how they're worried that Biden's communist ARPA bill is going to come and steal their fucking homes because they wouldn't inject trans vaccine dicks into their little fucking children. Are you serious? Give me a break.
Everything they see as a conspiracy. They're superstitious, but we're not in this anymore.
Seriously? Everything that, like, it's not, this isn't even, it's not, this is a joke. This is a joke. We're like, people are, this is a joke. He knows this is ridiculous. Everything's a conspiracy to these guys. Like,
suspicious pagans. All right, everything they see as a conspiracy. They're superstitious, but we're not in this anymore. We used to have to battle these people. We are in an age of common sense.
Jessica, I will go to you next. You don't have to, you can choose to comment on whatever you want, but it is good to have Jesse back on the table. I do think it's a little wild, and when it comes to certain news stories, it's let's wait, let's get all the facts, let's see, but if it's a blame Trump, they're like, all systems go.
Well, you could actually do that for any
Republicans
story.
do,
So, yeah.
writ large. Take it from me.
Listen, this is one of the more devastating stories that I think we've had to cover as a mother of two daughters that are going to go to camp at some point. I cannot even imagine what that feels like. I've been reading the testimonials, especially about the fathers and grandfathers that are walking around that camp looking for a thermos with their kid's name on it or some sign that they were there. Maybe they find the body of another camper. Maybe they find their own child or grandchild. Unimaginable. I'm so sorry for them, and I'm sorry for
Have you seen that Lance agreed to another interview without preparing at all? This time debating Jesse Singal on his Atlantic article about trans youths. That's going to be a actual fucking e-rape event. Like, might get censored off the internet, needs to be uploaded to Pornhub. Jesse Singal is literally, I would need days of prep to do a debate with him. I'm not even sure how far apart we'd be, maybe, but there's zero chance that Lance has opened a single study of anything in his entire fucking life.
Me hurt that any comments.
Oh wait, he's debating right now? Are they already debated?
Dramatic could change their stance on that, but as of right now, every major medical association in the United States agrees and strongly supports gender-affirming care.
They don't strongly support it. So they all use different language. Some of them will say, like, in the case of well-assessed youth or something like that. In the case of the AAP, they put out a 2018 policy statement where this one guy, Jason Rafferty, he wrote it. And usually when you have a statement from a medical group, you want it to be like the statement of the whole group, right? Not just one guy or like a committee. So this was an unusual case where one guy...
That's a 2-hour thing.
...about this tragedy has caused these families. I don't think that talking about preparedness or what might have helped qualifies as impugning the memory of those that have been lost or detracting from the thoughtful conversation that needs to take place, because this river has been flooding for a very long time. There are a number of instances in this. And we were here around the table when Hurricane Helene struck, and I did not hear Jesse Waters, who I'm thrilled is back around the table, saying that Donald Trump should stop spreading lies about the Biden administration and the FEMA funds. Trump came out and he said, they're giving your FEMA dollars to illegals. They're housing them with your FEMA dollars. Then he said, you're only going to get $750 from FEMA, which was a complete lie. And there were Republican officials who have testified to the fact that people did not get their FEMA assistance because of what Trump and other Republicans were saying. You also don't need to trust or go to Democrats to politicize it. You can look at this GOP state rep, Wes Burdell, who said that he would have voted differently on a bill that was before the House last year. I think it was House Bill number 13, that was going to add more money for disaster response and better alert systems, radio towers, et cetera. There are over $54 billion in identified needs in terms of disaster resistance when it comes to these kinds of flash floods that state officials are asking for, and the GOP legislature has rejected them. That is something that they can work on to move forward and hopefully avoid a tragedy like this again.
And well, Kellyanne, I think one thing that we always are constantly reminded of, especially even with Hurricane Helene, is that state and local governments are the ones that are on the front lines of defense, and the federal government can help, but they're not necessarily the ones to blame.
That's right. They're on the first level of defense, but they're also the ones who tend to issue the warnings and then go out to rescue and recover. I mean, the left is very culpable on this one, Jessica, respectfully. They have this playbook now. Number one, blame.
Right up your highlights for the next Piers panel with those tweets. They can't wait to invite you on. I'm going to be honest. This was the first one I skipped. I knew you wanted to bring. I didn't even want to fucking do it, and I was tired. Fuck it. But they messaged me twice this morning, and I was like, oh, actually, they were doing the construction on my balcony today, so it wasn't realized I was going to do it. But I was like, I'll lose my fucking mind if I go on and have to sit here next to all these fucking ghouls. I actually can't do it. I might actually die. My heart might explode. I don't know if I could handle it.
Trump. Number two, lie in the service of blaming Trump. Refer to number one. And number three, give us your thoughts, never even your prayers. Why aren't they out there helping with rescue and recovery? Why aren't they looking for the thermoses? Why aren't they crediting lifting up this hero who saved the lives of 168? Why isn't he a household name? Trump, and everything. And it turns out all of it's just a lie. Diana Bash, George Stephanopoulos, Al Sharpton, and other Democrats in the media.
Al Sharpton? What year is it? I haven't heard that guy's name since Rush Limbaugh used to complain about him all the time. Jesse High Jackson, and then he would call him, and then what did he have? Reverend Al Sharpton. What did he used to call him?
Democrats everywhere. Lying, climate change. People are talking about climate change from the comfy cockpits of their fossil fuel guzzling private aircraft, telling the rest of us what just went wrong, who's to blame, while people are still looking for loved ones. We didn't have this when I was growing up. Everybody got together. I think the modern Democratic Party, it's hysteria over compassion. It is Trump derangement syndrome, definitely, and it's confrontation over collaboration. And they let that go here. Last point, Trump's the one. He got in late September, early October, he went down to North Carolina after that tragedy. He and Melania went out.
Yeah, when he was running for office, you stupid cunt. Where is he now? Has Trump even gone to Texas yet? Or is he too busy fucking filleting Netanyahu?
That is a fact.
We had a rough time, but sometimes you need the rough time in order to get. I think things are going to be really settled down a lot in the Middle East, and they respect us, and they respect Israel. They respect a lot of things that took place. Nobody's ever seen equipment like what we sent over to knock out those sites. But when those sites were knocked out, it essentially that was the end.
Do you think that there can be a two-state solution that creates an independent?
I don't know.
Imagine asking Trump a question of any substance at all. I think he's honest about it, though. He's like, I don't know.
Ask me that question. You have the greatest man in the world to answer that age-old question, two-state. Go ahead. You give him your honest answer.
I think Palestinians should have all the powers to govern themselves, but none of the powers to threaten us. And that means that certain powers, like overall security, will always remain in our hands. Now, that is a fact. And no one in Israel will agree to anything else because we don't commit suicide. We want life, we cherish life for ourselves, for our neighbors. And I think we can work out a peace between us and the entire Middle East with President Trump's leadership. And by working together, I think we can establish a very, very broad peace that will include all our neighbors.
Mr. President, a question on Iran. You asserted that there's complete and total destruction of their nuclear facilities. So what is the basis of the talks going forward? Is it to cap future nuclear activity? Is it ballistic missiles, terror support, economic-based opportunities? What are the
It's really a good question because if you remember when it was done, I sort of said, what's the purpose of talking? It's been knocked out completely. But they've requested a meeting, and I'm going to go to a meeting, and if we can put something down on paper, that will be fine.
Wow.
I think they've gained a lot of respect for us. I think they've gained a lot of respect for Israel also.
One of my favorite things about Netanyahu, this leader of peace who's going to lead us into a new glorious time, was after Rabin signed the Oslo Accords, all of the right wing in Israel was super fucking ass pained. And this is in July of '95. A couple of the Conservative Party members, Netanyahu included, do this like fucking mock funeral procession for Rabin with like a fake coffin and everything. And the guy gets assassinated 5 months later by some insane fucking right-wing lunatic. But apparently Trump says he nominated this guy for or he wants to nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize. Or wait, or did I get that backwards? Was it Netanyahu wanted to nominate Trump? Oh, the other way around. Oh, never mind. That's way more reasonable. My bad. Trump definitely deserves one, not Netanyahu.
And one country and one region after the other. So I want to present to you, Mr. President, the letter I sent to the Nobel Prize Committee. It's nominating you for the Peace Prize, which is well deserved, and you should get it.
Says he's still in love with Israel? Only when Israelis don't talk about our country's fucking politics. Because my God, they are on some Trump slurp.
Thank you very much. This I didn't know.
Damn, dude. I bet there was like a world leader that was supposed to meet with Trump next week, and they're like, fuck, I wanted to send the letter to nominate. I got to send two now.
Wow. Thank you very much. Coming from you in particular, this is very meaningful. Thank you very much, baby.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. It's a great honor.
We speak in one country.
Out here in Amish, smoking big joints in Amish. Big old joints.
Why? What is this? Okay.